So what exactly does fitness mean? 60 plus fitness journey. What does fitness mean? Is it just all about putting on muscle and lifting weights? I don't know. Let's talk about that for a minute. Hey gang, welcome back to Mark's 60 plus fitness journey. Okay, I'm out for my walk. It's probably 7:30ish in the AM over here on the mid-eastern part of the United States, Norfolk, Virginia to be precise. Now what I'm doing here is, if you've been watching me, hanging out with me for a bit, you know I'm a walker. As such, first thing I do in the morning before I eat breakfast, before I break my fast, is go for a walk. And 30 to 45 minutes has been the norm lately. Sometimes on the weekend I might go up an hour to an hour. We may go up to an hour. But so I'm walking in the morning, and it's an aerobic activity as opposed to an anaerobic activity. And I'll point out why that's significant here in a moment, because it is all part and parcel of my particular fitness plan. And since this channel is named 60 plus fitness journey with the word fitness in there, I'd like to make sure there's some fitness included as well. It's just not all pure weightlifting, bodybuilding kind of stuff. But so I want to make sure I've got a fitness component in this, and walking is certainly part of it, and that's my walking. And my walking takes care of the aerobic portion. Now, what about the anaerobic? Well, first let's talk about the aerobic a little bit more. The aerobic activity is an activity at a lower heart rate. You're not huffing and puffing. The body is able to use oxygen. Anaerobic means in the presence of oxygen. So you can use oxygen and fats in your body as fuel. Okay, which is also significant if you're in a fasted state, as I am in the morning. So I'm fasted, so I like to walk as an aerobic activity to burn fat, which is what aerobic activity does. And by virtue of the fact that I'm fasted in the morning, my glucose levels are very, very low. So I need to burn fat. And that's what I want to do. I want to burn fat and try to stay as lean as possible. Now, on the other side of that coin, there is the anaerobic activity. Anaerobic activity is when you are huffing and puffing. It includes such things as weightlifting, any kind of high intensity interval training, like that could include jump roping or running or sprinting or stair climbing or anything that's going to make you huff and puff. And by and large, something where the approach would be, say you got on one of those big spin fan type bicycles and hit it hard for a minute or 30 seconds. You know, hit it as hard as you could, and then stop and rest and let your heart rate recuperate. That'd be an example of an anaerobic activity. And that's activity where your body is able to do that in the presence of glucose and glycogen, rather than fat, to create the energy to complete that activity. So during my day, I take care of both of those components. I take care of the aerobic activity by walking, and I hope that also keeps me leaner, a lower body fat overall. And I also take care of the anaerobic activity by virtue of the the weightlifting, the weight training I do. As a matter of fact, I use a low volume, high intensity type approach. And to me, that means slower. I would do 6 sets of exercises for a given body part, say like biceps. Well, that was really too much, probably for most people, but definitely for me. So I lowered that down to 3 sets of bicep work as an example, and just make those sets very intense, to near failure. An RPE of 9 or 10. RPE meaning rate of perceived effort on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being extremely easy in the warm-up type range. 10 meaning couldn't have possibly done another rep. So I take care of my aerobic by walking in a fasted state, and I do some walking sometimes after that too, but it's always low heart rate type of walking, but I prefer to do it in a fasted state. And anaerobic activity like weightlifting, as I said, and sometimes I include things like stair climbing and that bicycle I mentioned. And I think that covers a good portion of my fitness day. And I guess a third facet of that, maybe the third leg of the stool, is the nutrition, the diet. I'm just a proponent lately of just clean eating and a nice macro breakdown. Let me see if I can find an image of my current macro breakdown and drop it right here so you can see it, because I can't remember that specifically off the top of my head every time. But I like to keep the processed foods out, and I like to keep the protein high, good fats high, and that's it. And I mentioned I walk in a fasted state in the morning. I do use intermittent fasting, have been doing that for months now. I have a 15-hour fast window and a 9-hour eating window. So when my 9-hour eating window stops, say it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I stop and don't eat again until gosh, what's that going to be, 8 o'clock the next morning? I guess that's math is right, but something like that. And to me, this is a very easy way for me to maintain my body fat level. It works well for me. Now, I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't include this and one other topic in this discussion. The first being the inevitable question of TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. Now, I've talked about this. If you've been with me for a while, you know this. I started TRT about 3 years ago, somewhere in that time frame. And right now, my dose is 100 milligrams of testosterone cypionate every 5 days. I get my blood work done every 3 months. Feeling good. All of that is on track. I know it's controversial. I feel good about having made that decision. It works well for me. I'm just including this in this discussion because this is what I'm doing. This is part of my overall fitness plan. Now, I'm sure there's some of you out there that may argue whether this is beneficial or not, but that's up for discussion. And I do plan on doing another follow-up video on the TRT in regards to me soon, so keep your eyes open for that. And the other thing I want to mention too is flexibility and mobility, general flexibility and mobility. I'm a little lacking in that regard, particularly my hips. And that's something I've been working on a little bit lately too, and I hope to get a little bit more proficient at that. And that's another discussion I want to get into a little bit later on. So again, keep your eyes peeled for that, okay? Well, anyway, I just thought I'd talk about that a little bit this morning while I was out for my walk in this lovely, lovely weather. And actually, I don't mind days like this, as long as it's not raining. Cold, overcast days suit me just fine. Not 365 days a year, but this is just fine. So, there you go. That's kind of an overview, high-level synopsis of Mark's fitness definition. And I'll leave you with that to ponder. If you have any questions, comments, just let me know. Leave them down below. Leave some comments. And while you're there, hit that like button. Share this with your friends. And if you haven't already, please consider hitting. You can lick it, kick it, whatever. That subscribe button. Come join our group. Love to have you here. All right, now I'm gonna go home and get some breakfast after this walk, hit the gym, and with that I'll say, until next time, go get 'em. Mark out.